In this video, we'll see how to download the latest version of firmware and update it to one of the RSP20 model switch from Hirschmann. First, you need to have an account that you can easily create using your company domain email address in Belden, because the Hirschmann switches are now managed by Belden, and you can create an account very easily using your company domain email address. Next, you can click the downloads menu where you can click the brand. So I do have one Hirschmann RSP20 model switch in my setup, which I use it for our customer training in general. Next, you need to choose the OS. We do have iOS, and you can also choose the compatible firmware. Of course, each firmware version include the zip file, and you can extract the zip file and understand the new features and improvements and enhancement has been part of the newer version. And currently, I do have one RSP20 model switch, which you can easily identify using HiView software, and the same can also be downloaded from the same website. Next, I right click, then go to the graphical user interface. Next up, the certificate. I need to provide the right username and password. Once you logged in, you could see the model number. So the device type is RSP20 and the hardware version is version 1, and you can see the software version is 2S. And I have already downloaded one of the compatible firmware version. So let's check what we do have currently on the running, basically the current firmware which is running on the RSP20. So we do have 7.1.04 version, which has been built around 2021. And we have another firmware which I have downloaded and copied in this PC. And first thing first, you need to open the README document after you extract the specific firmware. Next, you need to read it very carefully here. What are the compatible hardware and firmware that you need to read it through by scrolling down here. For example, currently we are running 7.1, and what are the new features, maybe some of the improvements added, bug fixes. So usually you can download the issue list and the latest software releases available in the same downloads folder on the website for Berlin. Next, you can see the firmware here inside the binary file. So let's select the software menu. Under the basic setting, you can choose the image. There we go to the downloads. So here's the folder, and I choose the firmware that's available here, the binary file, because this particular model switch is, belong to this binary file. You can see the RSP 2S model 20 is part of this particular binary. So I have to pick that particular binary file, and then I choose open. You can start the firmware update. So in few seconds the firmware update will be completed. So make sure that you perform the update by understanding the risk, because when you update you must need to reboot the switch to post-process the completion of the firmware boot into the device, and there will be disconnection. So there are consequences updating firmware in a live system, but in my case, I'm doing update in the training setup, which is completely fine. The firmware has been updated successfully. So this is the information that we should get. Next, you can see here the firmware image should be updated. Let's refresh. And here we have the stored version. You can see here 7.1.11, which has been built around end of 2024. And I go to the load and save. So this should be done before if you are doing an actual project to be in safe side. You can actually save the running configuration, the latest configuration to the local PC as a script. But in my case, there is no complicated configuration in my training setup. I just have a P2P enable which I can able to completely control. But it's very important to take the backup before you perform the update. To be safe side, if something goes wrong, you can bring back the configuration changes quite easily. So let's go to the restart option because the restart is required to push the update successfully. Because currently the software is basically stored on the device because the running configuration is still the old one, 7104. So after restarting, after performing the restart, cold start, the device reboot with a soft reboot command, and configuration is saved. The restart will happen very soon. I'll try to ping the device. You should see a response once it's rebooted, but it takes few seconds, maybe 1 or 2 minutes maximum to completely reboot and boot the new image. Once it's back, we should get a login banner where you can able to. Okay, and we see already the newer firmware version, which is also started responding for the ICMP ping request. Let's put the right username and password as well. And let's go to the software. So here we are able to see the running version has been up to date, which has been updated just now. That's all in this video. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.